are named after Air Force pioneers who have made significant contributions to our enlisted heritage. They have special meaning to all airmen, especially those who are transitioning from civilian to warrior airmen of character. Today's graduates make up these heritage flights and will continue to shape our Air Force. And now, I'd like to take a moment to inform you on specific flight locations on the parade field, as viewed from the bleachers from your left to your right. The first 4 heritage flights to pass and review today are from the 323rd Training Squadron: Blue, Roy, Cody, and Mathis flight. Next is McCoy flight from the 320th Training Squadron. In the center of the parade field is the 737th Training Group's Drum and Bugle Corps, Murray flight from the 321st Training Squadron. The flight selected to carry our national, state, and territorial flags is Andrews flight, followed by Parrish flight from the 320th Training Squadron. The last 4 flights to pass and review today are from the 322nd Training Squadron: Erie, Wright, Barnes, and Galen flight. At this time, please find a place to sit, thank you, and enjoy today's ceremony. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the entrance of our official party. Please remain standing for the invocation given by Chaplain McCafferty.
Please join with me. Almighty God, we thank you for this happy occasion that brings us together as fellow airmen, leaders, family, and friends. We rejoice with these graduates on this special day of achievement and celebration. We ask for your blessing on these young men and women who have worked many difficult weeks and have given so much of themselves to arrive at this moment. We thank you for their families and the sacrifices they have made to make this day possible. We ask that you would fill their hearts with pride as they witness the fruit of their labor. We also pray that you would give to their leaders and instructors a sense of accomplishment for their faithful and dedicated service to these graduates. Grant these airmen strength that they may remain steadfast in the causes of truth, justice, and freedom, and may they always bring honor to the Air Force, to their families, to themselves. This we ask in your holy name. Amen.
Thank you, Chaplain McCafferty. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to today's Basic Military Training Graduation Parade. We would like to introduce our distinguished guests, beginning with the host for today's ceremony, the Commander, Air Force Basic Military Training, Joint Base San Antonio, Lackland, Texas, Colonel Jason Carruthers. Representing the Superintendent, Air Force Basic Military Training, Chief Master Sergeant Lee Utsey. From the 37th Training Wing, the Vice Commander, 37th Training Wing, Joint Base San Antonio, Lackland, Texas, Colonel Jeffrey Fallison. The Command Chief, 37th Training Wing, Chief Master Sergeant Philip Eckenrod, accompanied by his wife, Robin. Also in attendance with us today, the Commander, 102nd Intelligence Wing, Otis Air National Guard Base, Massachusetts, Colonel Virginia Doonan. The Command Chief, 20th Air Force, Francis E. Warren Air Force Base, Wyoming, Chief Master Sergeant Thomas Good. Although time does not permit us to introduce all of our distinguished guests, The 37th Training Wing is proud to welcome each of you. We hope you enjoy today's ceremony. The airmen who will pass under review today have completed a demanding 7.5-week program that provides Air Force units throughout the world with trained airmen. Part of this training includes the time-proven concepts of military customs and traditions, of which this parade is a vital part. All graduating airmen will also march over the Enlisted Heroes Walk. They will lead the way for the thousands of airmen that will follow, all reflecting on our enlisted heritage, tradition of honor, and our legacy of valor. Our Commander of Airmen is Technical Sergeant Derek White, Military Training Instructor, 320th Training Squadron. Colonel Carruthers will review today's ceremony. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the playing of the national anthem. Please be seated.
March the command in review.
Punch! Take the post. Punch! Ambulance, Squadron! Order up!
Ladies and gentlemen, the graduating airmen passing review today represent a portion of the 40,000 recruits who will compete basic military training this year. The 737 training group provides all recruits the essential military training to become motivated members of the enlisted corps of the greatest Air Force in the world. The military training instructors are responsible for the indoctrination, development, and discipline of the airmen. They have dedicated endless hours to ensuring all training objectives are met. Today's graduates have proven through academic studies, military training, physical training, and the development of teamwork that they are ready to take their place in the United States Air Force. The flights you view today are a representation of the enlisted force. Each flight represents an enlisted member of the Air Force who has embodied our core values and contributed to its heritage. As our graduates turn left onto the bomb run to pass and review, they will march over the enlisted heroes walk. The airmen recognized on the pavers have been awarded our nation's highest honors, representing heroic and unselfish actions as members of the United States Air Force in armed conflict, including present-day operations in Afghanistan. They include 7 Medal of Honor, 28 Air Force Crosses, and 190 Silver Stars awarded for bravery during encounters with hostile enemy combatants. These enlisted heroes serve to inspire all airmen to execute their duties courageously and with honor in their service to this great nation. Armed with the knowledge of our past, the airmen will exit the Heroes Walk by marching over a blue line, signifying their accession into the greatest air power in the world. Musical support for this morning's ceremony has been provided by the 737 Training Group's Drum and Bugle Corps. Murray Flight, the 321st Training Squad. Performing today under the direction of Master Sergeant Sherry Wynn, hometown Chattanooga, Tennessee. These airmen are also in basic military training, but have been hand-selected to perform the ceremonies of this type. We would like for you to notice our national, state, and territorial flags. As these flags after review, please stand and render the appropriate courtesies for our national flag. Once the flags have passed review, please be courteous of others and be seated in order to allow all our guests the opportunity to view the flights as they pass for review. Now passing in review, our Commander of Airmen is Technical Sergeant Derek White, Military Training Instructor, 320 Training Squadron, hometown, Jackson, Mississippi. For the 321st Training Squadron, the Drum and Bugle Corps, representing Master Sergeant of the Air Force, number 14, Murray Flight, led by Technical Sergeant Russell Elliott. Hometown, Nicole Falls, and Technical Sergeant Edward Copeland, hometown, Davie, Florida. representing the Medal of Honor recipient, Baptist Flight, led by Technical Sergeant James Thomas, hometown, Elizabethtown, Kentucky. From the 320th Training Squadron, representing Chief Master Sergeant of the Air Force Number 6, McCoy Flight, led by Technical Sergeant Victoria Burke, hometown, Virginia Beach, Virginia. This squadron selected as the color guard is from the 319th Training Squadron, led by Master Sergeant John Mitchell, hometown, Little Rock, Arkansas. The flights selected to carry our national, state, and territorial flags are from the 320th Training Squadron, representing Chief Master of the Air Force Number 7, Andrews Flight, led by Technical Sergeant Bradley Cooper, hometown, Kalamazoo, Michigan, and Technical Sergeant Jean-Pierre Coupavi Beretta, hometown, Occoquan, Missouri. The B Squadron Commander is Master Sergeant Darren Beasley, Military Training Instructor, 319th Training Squadron, hometown, Anderson, South Carolina. From the 320th Training Squadron, representing Chief Master Sergeant of the Air Force Number 8, Harris Flight, led by Technical Sergeant Marshall Rittenauer, hometown, Lawrenceburg, Tennessee. From the 322nd Training Squadron, representing Chief Master Sergeant of the Air Force Number 1, Aries Flight, led by Technical Sergeant Luke Gilmore, hometown, Klamath Falls, Oregon. From the 322nd Training Squadron, representing Chief Master Sergeant of the Air Force Number 18, Wright Flight, led by Technical Sergeant Vanessa Fisher, hometown, El Paso, Texas. From the 322nd Training Squadron, representing Chief Master of the Air Force Number 4, Barnes Flight, led by Master Sergeant Michelle Mickens, hometown, Beaufort, South Carolina. From the 322nd Training Squadron, representing Chief Master of the Air Force Number 5, Gaylor Flight, led by Technical Sergeant Dana Garantino, hometown, Colorado Springs, Colorado. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the playing of the United States Air Force song. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Please be seated. Over the last 7.5 weeks, the airmen before you have transformed from civilians into motivated, disciplined warrior airmen with the foundation to serve in the world's greatest Air Force. Once these airmen leave basic military training, they will enter Airman Week, where they will develop their critical thinking skills and further personalize the Air Force core values. They will continue on to technical training to learn the skills needed to perform in one of over 118 Air Force specialties. They will then move on to serve at one of our over 84 bases around the world or work directly with our sister services. As these airmen move on to technical training, they will continue to focus on adapting to military requirements, achieving occupational proficiency, and learning how to be highly productive members of the Air Force. These men and women will prepare for increased responsibilities and must ensure they are trained, qualified, and ready to deploy and operate in an expeditionary environment while maintaining home station readiness. Of these thousands, hundreds of thousands of American citizens that enter the workforce each year, less than 1% have joined the ranks of the United States military, and an even smaller percentage in the United States Air Force. You should be proud of their accomplishments thus far. The airmen before you have reached a milestone in their Air Force journey and will require your continued support to assist them in the future endeavors. These airmen are the future of our Air Force and will pave the way of future generations of airmen as we continue to fly, fight, and win. We would like to take a moment to congratulate all of our Squadron Honor graduates as well as their families. Basic military training honor graduates distinguish themselves by being ranked in the top 10% of all airmen graduating in their class. The exceptional personal dedication, integrity, service before self, and sustained excellence these airmen displayed throughout basic military training earned them this outstanding distinction. As the airmen march forward from the oath of enlistment, we would like to thank the family and friends who are here in support of the airmen graduating today. Your words of encouragement help motivate these airmen through 7.5 weeks of basic military training. On behalf of the United States Air Force and Air Force Basic Military Training, we extend our thanks to the many families and friends of America's airmen in support of our airmen and the greatest air power the world has ever known. Colonel Carruthers will now come forward and address our graduated airmen.
Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. I'm Colonel Jason Carruthers, and I have the honor and privilege of being the commander here for Air Force Basic Military Training. And before I get on with my remarks to all of this fabulous, amazing parade before you today, I'd be remiss if I didn't start with a few thank yous. So first, let me start with the moms, the dads, the brothers, the sisters, grandparents, all of those family and friends that have traveled here today. Thank you for the support as you helped mold and shape our nation's treasure to bring us to this moment in time. Thank you for the support, and then thank you for your continued support as they continue an incredible journey as part of our nation's Air Force. I'd also like to take a moment to thank and recognize the veterans in the audience. So if you can, please stand up. Ladies and gentlemen, the veterans before you recognize the giants whose shoulders we stand on. These men and women before you today stand on those shoulders so that we can retire, so that we can see further and continue in the legacy and continue down the path that these veterans have laid. Thank you for your service, and thank you for your support. And let me own a little bias here, but I'd also like to thank our commanders and our superintendents and our staff that also have brought us to this moment in time. And specifically, as I say the staff, let me highlight our military training instructors. And just like our military as a whole stands on the shoulders of giants, so too do those military training instructors. And today's a special day because we have one of those giants with us today. And so, Chief Master Sergeant Thomas Good, if you could, will you please stand up? Chief Good is not only the command chief for the 20th Air Force, which owns and executes 1/3 of our nation's nuclear triad, that ICBM mission set. And while that certainly is momentous in and of itself, what makes him a giant in my eyes is that he represents that legacy of that military instructor corps, as he served 2 tours in our Air Force as a military training instructor. And he's also a Blue Robe, which represents the best of our Air Force and our military training instructor corps. And in fact, 28 years ago, in April, he stood on this very parade ground as he embarked on his service in our nation. So thank you very much, Chief Good, for everything you've done. Because as a military training instructor, he understands what I need you to understand. That our military training instructors are by design drawn from the very best of our Air Force, the best NCOs and senior NCOs in our Air Force. And I assure you, they take the mantle of responsibility of handcrafting that human weapon system right before you today seriously. If you ever doubt that this Air Force is ever getting it wrong, I only need you to look at the military training instructors and these folks before you today and understand that they're getting it right. Please join me in a round of applause for them. And to our airmen, look, I'm the last thing between you and time with your friends and family and a meal downtown San Antonio you've been looking forward to for about 2 months. So I'll keep it brief. But first, let me say, welcome. Welcome to an elite force. A force with the heritage and history of flying farther, flying faster, and doing it first. Ours is a force that provides the oxygen our joint force needs to operate and execute. Ours is a force that touches the lives of all of our citizenry. And to the friends and families in the audience, let me give you an example of that. Whatever brought you here, whether or not that was a plane, whether or not that was an automobile, or whether or not that was that navigation system on your phone, here's what I'll tell you. That global positioning satellite system is operated by our Air Force. Not just for our military, but for you. So on behalf of our Air Force, you're welcome. And again, to our airmen. So let's talk about the mission of our Air Force. It includes humanitarian response. And we need not look too far in the distance, or in the rearview mirror rather, to really think of an example of that. Because just late last summer, a couple of hurricanes devastated our nation. Certainly Hurricane Harvey for our neighbors in the south and Houston. And then a week later, Hurricane Irma devastated Florida and Puerto Rico. And it was your Air Force that was there to provide humanitarian aid, relief, and response to help our nation recover. But certainly while we'll own that humanitarian response mission set, let's also own the lethality that this Air Force brings as we get after it every single day, owning the high ground as we demonstrate global power, global reach, and global vigilance. Your service is made more special because of your service, your courage. Here's what makes it special. In an uncertain world, you said, send me. And for that, you will have my deepest respect for every day that I serve and be part of our Air Force and beyond. Your service brings reassurance to our allies in Europe as we deal with the resurgent Russia. Your service brings reassurance as we maintain a peaceful but watchful presence as we discern the implications of China's rise in the Pacific theater. Your service enables a special set of options available to our nation to combat increasingly aggressive North Korea that flouts international norms and standards. In an uncertain world, you had the courage to send me. And our nation owes you a debt of gratitude, and I am proud and honored to serve alongside you. So with that said, I have just one question for you. Are you ready to join the ranks of the world's greatest Air Force? Holy smokes, I think that's a yes!
Ladies and gentlemen, please stand. Colonel Carruthers will now administer the oath of enlistment.
Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name.
I,
do solemnly swear or affirm.
do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
and that I bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
and that I bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
that I will obey the orders of the President of the United States,
that I will obey the orders of the President of the United States,
and the orders of the officers appointed over me,
and the orders of the officers appointed over me,
according to regulations and the Uniform Code of Military Justice.
according to the regulations and the Uniform Code of Military Justice.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations to each and every one of you. Welcome to the world's greatest Air Force.
Thank you, Colonel Carruthers. Ladies and gentlemen, please remain standing as our newest airmen recite the Airman's Creed and remain in place for the departure of our official party. I am an American airman.
I am a warrior. I have answered my nation's call. I am an American airman. My mission is to fly, fly, and win. I am faithful to a proud heritage, a tradition of honor, and a legacy of valor. I am an American airman, guardian of freedom and justice. My nation's sword and shield, a century of avenger. I defend my country with
Thank you. Please be seated. Airmen in the Government Bugle Corps, Murray Flight,